Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to #BeerTime, episode 119. I'm your host, T-Bone Troye. Welcome back. How you all doing? How you feeling? It's good to be here. It's good to be back on the airwaves. And for those of you that can't see, I'm sitting at my desk alone. Yes, I think it's the very first solo episode that I'm doing. The first podcast where I don't actually have a guest. Funnily enough, well, I say funnily enough, but we did have two guests lined up for the beginning of this year, and we just didn't manage to get our calendars aligned. But be that as it may, I still said, no, listen, we still have to get a podcast out there because I made myself a promise at the beginning of the year. I want to upload more podcast and video content for 2026. I'd like to try my best to do at least one a month, and I think it's easy enough to do. I've had a little bit of experience in this. I'm not sure if you know. And I said, no, look, we've got a few days left to upload. I do pay for hosting. I do pay for my podcast to go online, so I might as well use that credits rather than let it go to waste. So this episode is pretty much a short 10-minute episode where we're just going to go through some things that I'm really excited about, some news, some shifting. As I'm talking now, I've just realized, I put my pen down, that I've forgotten a vital element to the show. It's called #BeerTime for a reason, and I don't have a beer. Push pause. Okay, I'm back. We have here in my hands, now look, it is 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, and this is a non-alcoholic beer. Before you judge me, hear me out. This is the Corona Zero. Do you say Zero or Zero? Okay, honestly, before I even tried this a while ago, I thought, I'm not a big fan of Corona, but let me give this Zero a whirl. And I also heard from other colleagues and friends that if you're going to have a non-alcoholic beer for whatever personal reasons you may have, then go for the Corona because it is something that is quite similar to, let's just say in inverted commas, a normal beer. So, cheers. I need another sip just to be sure. Not bad at all. I will give that a Troye's thumbs up, if that's a thing. I am actually trying to cut back on alcohol consumption in the week. I feel that it helps with a lot of things, especially if I want to be at the best of my ability with beer fests, with beer judging, beer arts, podcasting, beer school, you name it. I need to actually be a bit sharp. And that kind of leads into the first part of this podcast, of this episode. I've got a few notes jotted down here, so you'll forgive me as I go through them. But basically, again, just wanted to welcome everyone and check in, see how you're doing. BeerTime, where are we now? Well, for those of you that don't know, this is our 10-year anniversary. I started BeerTime 2016. Can you believe it? A lot has changed since then. I always knew I wanted to do a podcast. I started out actually as a video vlog, creating videos of critiquing different beers, giving my opinions. And I soon realized that wasn't for me. I needed to shift gears and go to more voice. The video production, post-production, actually took quite a long time. For something of a 5-minute video would take me pretty much the whole day just to edit and upload. So I thought, no, let me find a less friction and actually find something that I can still do. So I soon shifted to audio, podcasting, still relatively new back then. You could argue still relatively new right now in 2026. But the one thing I knew was that I just wanted to talk about beer. I never envisioned going, I wouldn't say never, but I didn't give myself an end date. It's not that I wasn't expecting to get to 10 years. I wasn't not expecting to get to 100 episodes. It's just something that I've always really enjoyed. And I've enjoyed paying for the service. I've enjoyed paying for equipment upgrades. I've enjoyed paying for certain beers. And a lot of the time, most of the time, it comes at the expense of me. And there's not any money in this. But there have been some very kind sponsors along the way. One that obviously jumps straight to mind is Electric Industries in Cape Town. They've always been fantastic. Shout out to them because they always seem to pop up every now and again and help with the episodes and the podcast. So 10 years, where are we now? What are we looking at getting into? I've definitely had, excuse me, hang on. 1 second, hold on. Oh, it is delicious. I've opted not to go with the lime, just solo. Corono Cero. Back to the show. Where are we? 10 years now, hashtag BeerTime. I've had a lot of soul searching in the last few months. I've anticipated getting to 2026, 10 years. What are we going to do? Are we going to keep doing the same thing? Are we going to pivot? And the brutal, honest truth is that hashtag BeerTime is a fantastic IP. I've really enjoyed owning this intellectual property, even though I still believe that BeerTime as a saying or as a word that you toss around doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the industry. And that's pretty much partly why I chose the name. It's something that everyone should use, and I kind of see myself as the sriracha of the beer world, if I can be so bold as to say that. If you don't know any clue what I'm talking about, you can just Google the branding, identity, or story behind sriracha. That spicy sauce. So, BeerTime, 10 years. I actually want to start shifting back towards video. I really enjoyed it. I think there's a place for it. I also see in this modern day and age where we've gotten a lot of noise, a lot of AI, a lot of rubbish happening in front of our screens, people want to return to a more human factor, a more honest review, or a more someone that they can trust, and not just some algorithm splurting out random branding and sales towards them. This is just going to be something that I think is going to work going back to video. I'm super excited to get back into video, actually. And I think the technology in terms of production, post-production, editing software has jumped tremendously in the last 10 years. Yes, AI will certainly help in terms of post-production. And I know that even in something like with the Adobe suites, they've got so much going on in terms of shortcuts for video and audio. Don't get me wrong, the podcast will still be there, but the podcast and video will be there linked together on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I've also noted that people want to see people talking and drinking beers, even if it's on their own in southern suburbs on a weekday morning. Oh. Whoa. I'm getting into it. So, BeerTime, going back to video, more emphasis on the podcast, and let's talk a little bit about Beer School. Beer School, obviously, or if you don't know, it's something that I've been doing for the last 3 years now. We're entering into our 4th year, and there's definitely been a noticeable shift in terms of how I should be doing something. Like I said before, hashtag BeerTime is a great intellectual property. It's not right now with the umbrella company operating at a level that I'm happy with as a business. and it has to operate as a business, because I can't justify to my family that I'm going to keep doing this if I'm not bringing in the money. So with that being said, I've had to box a lot clever with beer school. I won't give you the numbers, but it's not enough to sustain what I'm doing. And so it's definitely something that I need to start working out. Do I keep doing in person? Yes, I'll still do in-person events because I love it. I love entertaining, I love educating, and I love, so to speak, performing in front of people if that is what they want when it comes to beer, because I think it is a performance, it is a show, and I love BeerTime, beer school, in live events. But I also know that I'm hitting the ceiling. I need to actually go online with beer school. There needs to be some kind of reach, not just limited to 20 people per session. It needs to grow a little bit more. So there are plans afoot in terms of using the content that I've got and actually uploading to video. So in a nutshell, hashtag BeerTime, growing, shifting, pivoting, and I'm certainly excited to see what's going to happen with Beer School and the podcast. But here's the big kicker. Here's the big shift in terms of BeerTime and what I will be doing and focusing my energy on. I would say I'd like to do 80% focus, maybe not right now, but why not? I do need to push this, and it's something that's been itching me every single year. And no, I don't need a cream from Dr. Trevor, but it is my art. And whether you want to call me a beer artist or not, I still want to be known as an artist. I think that is something that I've always had within me, and it's something that I've never really pushed or taken seriously. I do think I'm talented. I do think that I'm good at what I do, but it's weird. You get that whole self-doubt thing happen in your head, or self-sabotage, name it, whatever you want, but it just creeps into your old skull and just says maybe you shouldn't be doing it, or you're not worthy enough to do it. Imposter syndrome, all those things. And I've just had enough of that, and I just think if I'm going to make it big with BeerTime, a lot of focus needs to go towards my art, because that's, I have to just say this, that's where a lot of the income is going to come from, with sales of art and sales of prints. That is where I do foresee it being a profitable business. I'll also be doing some design work. I do currently have some design clients that require logos, whatnot here and there. So that's not going out the window. It's all these things that are going to fit within the hashtag BeerTime portfolio and brand. So where are we now? Let's take a little breather. Okay, let's get back. Let me have a little sip here. It actually goes on very well. Delicious. So, non-alcoholic beers. Let's talk about beer predictions. I do have some insights in terms of what I think will be happening in the world of beer and alcohol. I think we'll see a more of the same approach when it comes to consumption of beer. I think on the overall mainstream, beer sales are down. I think people are holding on to their wallets quite a bit, and I think they will still be searching for, especially in South Africa, a cheap, viable option in terms of alcohol consumption, whether it's a beer, whether it's a spritzer, whatever it is. I still foresee that being a common factor, the price points, because people's wallets are being hit quite hard. And the money that we had 10 years ago is just not what it is today. That's something I also see. I also, in the opposite way, I do still foresee people buying more expensive products. more expensive. Let's talk about beer. You will get people who will want to buy a 100 Rand beer once off if they go into name your brewery around the country. They'll still want to drink their 2, 3, 4 lagers, maybe buy a 6-pack, but then they're also going to spend $100 on one beer. This is obviously going to be, or I say obviously, but this would most likely be a limited edition beer, high alcohol, high gravity, thick, either strong with regards to alcohol, strong with regards to hops, strong with regards to a number of different additives that you can add to the beer. But I think there's going to be a common customer transaction where they will have, like I said, buy a 6-pack, but then also a much more expensive beer or more specialty beer that's not in the mainstream market. Another thing I also think we will get a return of younger generation drinkers coming back into the fold of wanting to experiment with booze and alcohol. I think it's the boomers or a certain Generation Z who found that they do not want to consume alcohol because maybe it's seen as uncool. Sure, that's fine, but I do think they have not been hit yet with the anxieties of life and trying to make an income, getting out of the house. And so I do, and I say this with a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I do foresee a growth in certain younger markets where there will be an interest in consumption of alcohol. Hopefully it's beer, hopefully it's homebrew. And this is the kind of the next prediction, is that I think homebrewing is going to get stronger, especially in South Africa this year. I've noticed a much more friendlier, inviting, welcoming industry, homebrew industry, if you are a newcomer. Also, the equipment that is out there currently compared to 10 years ago is unbelievable. I mean, I started homebrewing in 2010, and what you can get nowadays is just chalk and cheese compared to not just the equipment, but also the ingredients. It's definitely shifted away from the major factor why I started, and that was to have cheap beer. I wanted to make a 25-cent beer, and yes, that's really what the first beer cost me to make. 25 cents for a 340 ml bottle. I say 25 cents, it was probably something around there. That's changed considerably now, considering the type of grain that I'm using, the cost of the grain, the importing of the certain hops and the yeast. But there are certain tricks and ways getting around that. But back to the point, I do foresee a lot of people taking up homebrewing as a hobby. It is a fun hobby. I am so looking forward to getting stuck in this year, and I hope to see you at some homebrew festivals around South Africa. Speaking about festivals, there are a handful of festivals happening this year, but I have to give a special shout out to, right now, some that I'm super looking forward to. And the one is obviously Fools and Fans, happening in Greyton. It's the second weekend of April, after Easter weekend. So I think it's the 7th or 8th. Anyway, it's the second weekend of April in Greyton. It's the 9th anniversary of the festival. I will be there, yes. Dr. Trevor will be there, yes. Everyone who's organizing will be there. As always, it's going to be bigger and better. Trevor really has invited everyone under the sun. It's a fantastic festival just to hang out with the brewers. It's a very, I'd say, niche festival, because you need to know about it to go to it. I think they get about 1,500 people. So it's not a huge festival compared to the second festival I'm about to talk about, which is the Capital Craft Beer Festival in Pretoria, Botanical Gardens. And that's happening, again, the second or third Saturday of June. Now, both festivals are very different in size. I think Capital Craft gets 10,000 plus people. through their doors, which is an absolutely amazing feat. So well done to Johan and the team. That is the second festival that I'm really looking forward to. It will probably be my 5th time going. And I spoke to Johan yesterday. He's already said, no, we've got you, we've booked you. You need to come up, do a beer school session. So I'm super amped with that. And so these are 2 festivals that I'm excited about. And I think you guys should get excited about it. So if you haven't got your tickets, I think they're actually about to start selling Capital Craft tickets and Fools and Fans tickets. They're on sale as we speak. So I've probably forgotten a festival here and there, but I think those are the 2 big ones that I'm really excited about. And I would actually like to see a return of a Cape Town festival, whether it's summer, whether it's winter. It's definitely something that is needed. Will it happen this year? I don't know. Perhaps, maybe. Let's see. Let's have another sip. Let's definitely have another sip. Okay, I think this is a good place to kind of wrap it up. Otherwise, I can just keep talking, keep drinking beer. Nothing wrong with that. But again, this was just a short little episode just to kind of say hi, check in, show some consistency with BeerTime, with what you can expect. I almost need to hold myself accountable and make a promise that I'm going to do this every month so you get used to it. And I feel like I've always let BeerTime grow organically, and let me just see what happens. But I don't want to do that anymore. I actually want to put in a lot of emphasis with the growth of the brand, because I do think, again, great intellectual property, but how can we actually make it a successful business and keep doing this for another 10 years? And so I'm going to end off by saying thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for joining me on this journey. If you watched this far in the video, this very short podcast, well, thank you very much. Please expect more longer formats, podcasts, episodes, where we get back to talking about beer, getting a little tipsy over a few actual alcoholic beverages. And so I do have some really cool guests lined up, some cool content, some cool stuff to talk about. Oh, and the things that I want to paint and draw, my goodness, if I had an extra pair of arms, I would have an extra pair of arms, and I would get down to making a lot of art. But guys, again, thank you very much for joining me. I'm excited about what's 2026 is going to happen, and I look forward to seeing you at the next beer events. So thank you for watching. Check you soon. Ciao. Cut.